Everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. Listen, have some fun, but don't ever do, believe, or promote anything they say. They're idiots.
Guys, hold up. You should know, this ain't for everybody. Welcome to Savagely Loud. What's happening, people? Guys, welcome back to the show for the people that understand the facts. Divided by feelings equals failure. I'm Cliff, I'm your host, and today I'm joined by another awesome, just super awesome, fucking crazy stacked and jacked guest. But before we get to him, let me tell you this. If you want to help me get these words out, get these truths out, you can follow me on Instagram at SavagelyLOUD. That is where I'm most active. On that Savagely Loud page on Instagram, you're going to find two links. One of those links is to the Savagely Loud podcast page. If you could please follow me there too, that would be greatly appreciated, as that will inevitably be my backup page when they shut Savagely Loud down. The other link you're going to find there, simple link tree. Anywhere you want to hear me rant, see my media, you can find it there. Outside of that, you can follow me at Facebook, X, Rumble, and Substack at Savagely Loud. You can follow me at YouTube, Savagely Loud Podcast. And you can email me in at SavagelyLOUD@gmail.com. Last but not least, guys, please don't forget to like, comment, and share the material. Rate the shows. It really, really does help us a great amount to get into the algorithms when you guys review and rate the show. Give me the good stuff, and then do all the follows, clicks, subscribes, all that. Now, without further ado, let me bring in a guest of honor today. We've got Cowboy Heathen 5660. What's going on, Cowboy? How you doing?
What's going on, brother? I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, dude, I appreciate you being here. Tell everybody where they can find you at.
You can find me over on the Instagram at the Cowboy Heathen 5660. Just remember, the E in the is a 3. You can also find me over on TikTok with the same handle, also YouTube with the same handle. I'm still working on the YouTube. When it comes to technology, I'm not exactly the smartest person in the world. But those are where you can find me at on the gram. You can find me on TikTok, talking shit and pissing people off.
That's what it's funny that you ended that way, because that's how I found you. I was scrolling through one day, and all of a sudden I found this stacked and jacked old Southern boy fucking talking about somebody running their cock holster. And I was like, okay, this is my people. Let's see what he's got to say.
Oh yeah, I mean, people all, of course, when you hear me talk, people all automatically want to deduct 5 IQ points. And, and it's like I tell folks all the time, look, if I'm talking about something, it's because I promise you, I've done the research on it. My old lady will tell you she gets aggravated as crap with me because I'll either be sitting here for hours on end reading articles and going over, or I'm watching some kind of damn documentary on YouTube or something. I mean, it's just like, but just to see some of these so-called educated people out there, I'm like, oh my God, this is the smartest dumb generation that has ever damn existed.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I always lean back on, there's a huge difference between intelligent and smart. Intelligent is, you can tell me how to build the rocket. Smart is knowing you don't need a fucking rocket to get to work.
Well, I tell them all the time. I believe, it's like I tell them, I believe it was one of the greatest writers, in history, who once made the statement, I never let my education interfere with my school. And I'll let y'all look the quote up, and that way you can see who it is yourself, because then you might learn something.
I love that shit. So let's address this shirt you're wearing, because I talked about it with Conservative Willie. I've had him on twice now, and he's an awesome dude. And I happen to love this whole Patriot Gear movement, and it sounds like you might be becoming a part of it, but I know you wear a lot of it, and you make it look fucking good. I mean, look at all the goddamn muscles you got sticking out there, boy. Look at that shit. So tell us something about this.
Well, Patriot Gear, I actually went down a couple of weeks ago. I know there's another creator out there that a lot of people may know. You can find him on social media, Conservative Ant. He got started with the brand, and we've all been friends since we got started on social media. Now don't get me wrong, Ant started and he shit said, look at my shit, just kind of said, do. But he's a really good friend. Like we met through social media, and no matter how big Ant has gotten on social media with millions of followers from X and Instagram, he's always managed when he loses an account or I lose an account, we always manage to follow each other back, and he started with the brand. And so we went down there for the grand opening of his store and met the guys who created Patriot Brand, the official patriotgear.com. You can go look them up, get your own Patriot Gear stuff. But their mission, their motto is community. This isn't with Patriot Gear, it's not red, it's not blue. It's Patriot Gear is trying to bring back the red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
And it's all about community and unity with them. And, I will say they did just reach out to me today. I have become an official ambassador for Patriot Gear. So you're going to start seeing a lot more of the Patriot Gear stuff on my social media. And, man, it's just that they're a great group of people. And, when I went down there and I meet the owners of this great company. And, man, they acted like they were my best friends from day one. It was a big family type environment. Everybody felt welcome. It's just a great, great group of people. And like I said, you can find it at officialpatriotgear.com. Be sure to use Conservative Ants Ant20 for a special discount at checkout. But check out all that great merchandise, and it is a great, great group of people.
You know what? I've been watching him for a bit, and Conservative Ant is one that I've been following for a minute, and I love that dude. He's just himself. He doesn't make a big fucking thing out of anything, his personal life or anything like that. It's all, mission focused. And that's what drew me into watching the Patriot Gear stuff, looking at the Patriot Gear stuff. And then the more I looked at the Patriot Gear, now I'm not going to say that I know anything about it truly. I only know from what I talk to friends that are, kind of involved or at least wear it, know something like you. But it has that community vibe to it, that unity vibe to it. And what I find really, really, really interesting is because when I go on the internet, if anybody's not familiar with my content, I'm a shock jock. Like I have to punch people in the face to get them to listen, and then I have to piss them off to get them to talk, because once we talk, that's when the conversation happens. That's when the real change happens. So I hit the internet in my way, and people call me racist. People call me, anti-Semite. They call me this and that and the other thing. And really all it is a manner in which that we can start the conversation to find that common ground on. And when I see other brands, because this is my brand, that's their brand, this is their brand, that's their brand. When I see these other brands doing that same thing in very different ways, I get immediately turned on to it, and I want to support that brand as much as possible, because this is really hard to be in the middle, because everybody always like, most people are in the middle. Most people are in the middle. But if you act in the middle, you don't get any traction. Nobody talks to you. Nobody sees you. Nobody hears you, listens to you, nothing. So you have to essentially enter the fringes to get the attention back to the middle, and then you can start having that conversation. And that's what I feel like the Patriot Gear, official Patriot Gear, is doing. Is everything is very, very loud. It's very in your face. It's very big. That looks like, you're a big man, and so it's probably 10-inch letters or 20-inch letters on that fucking shirt of yours. But it's always, it's always big. It's always, this is our stance, and I really appreciate that shit. So anybody out there, go to officialpatriotgear.com and check out for your shit, and check out their shit, and get some of it for yourself.
It's hats, shirts, man. They have everything. And yeah, man, that's honestly, we was talking right before we got started, and that's how I got started on social media. Was don't get me wrong, now I was one of those old school, bro. It took me a while to ever even join Facebook. I was a diehard. I was Tom's friend, damn it. Okay, I stayed on my Facebook. So, but man, like, I got started in this, and I'll be honest with you, I never give a rat's ass about politics. Okay, I was born in 1985. I'll be 41 in January. Dude, I grew up in the 90s. We didn't give a shit about politics. All we knew was Bill Clinton was getting blowjobs in the Oval Office, and fucking Hillary was an alien from some other planet. Like, I mean, I'm just saying. And God, they made the ugliest daughter in the world. Holy shit. But like, I didn't really start getting involved in politics until Obama got elected his second term. And I'm like, what got me started was, I mean, I grew up in a town. I mean, I live in a small town in central Georgia. It's called Milledgeville, Georgia. It's not even capitalized on the state map anymore, but it's the former capital of the state of Georgia. It was the capital pre-Civil War days. And dude, it's a town of, the city itself has 15, 17,000 people in it. The county has like 25. So it's not small, but it's not a big city either. But we have a mixed population. We have almost a 50-50 population of white and black. So we didn't grow up with this whole, everybody's a racist bullshit. I mean, and when I started noticing that's what got Obama elected. It wasn't his fucking policies. It was the fact that everybody screamed he was a black man. And if you didn't vote for the fucking black man, you were a racist. And all these little pansy ass pencil dick liberals out there who were scared of words jumped up. It's like, I love the slogan that they come up with during his second campaign against him was, if you voted for Obama his first term to prove you're not racist, vote against him his second term to prove you're not a dumbass. And that's when I invented the term of their dipshitocrats, because they live by identity, but you can also prove that shit wrong now, because look what's going on in Virginia. You have if you don't vote for me, you're racist black dude openly campaigning against everything a Democrat is supposed to love. She's black. She's a woman. She is a veteran. And she is a fucking immigrant. But they hate her because she's running as a Republican for governor. And if elected, she will be the first black female governor in United States history. And the Democrats are openly campaigning against her. So guess who that makes a racist, according to their standards?
You got that right. Well, and it's very, very much so all identity politics. So I'm 43, so we're in the same wheelhouse. Growing up, we heard about Clinton, but everything seemed all right. Like, everything seemed pretty decent. Looking back, we know he lit the 35-year fuse on manufacturing. We know he fucked up a bunch of stuff. But at the time, it seemed like all we ever heard was things were pretty good. He's the world's president. Like, he talks across the aisle. Everybody loves him. And we didn't hear much, It just kind of like politics was a thing that happened in the background and everybody's life was unaffected by it. But then Obama came along, and now Obama was a terrifying entity for me because I saw him immediately as the Antichrist. And it wasn't because he was black and I had old racist roots, because I used to be a member of, a card-carrying member of a fucking neo-Nazi organization and this and that. But it wasn't even about that, because that had been long since gone by then. What it was the fan club. He didn't scare me because, he was a fantastic orator and he was a fantastic narrator of his points. But what scared me to death was the fan club. Nobody dared question anything he said. Nobody would even push back in the slightest. It was like when he spoke, everybody bowed. And that's why I started calling him Chocolate Jesus and Chocolate Messiah, because every time he opened his mouth, everybody was like, he needs to be the forever president. And that was a word that scared me too. And that came out of his fan club, was forever president. Bitch, what happened? Now we're seeing all this no king shit, but when Obama was in office, all you wanted was him to be in there forever and have all the control of everything. And I feel like, well, we know he didn't do anything good. Not a single thing good. And in fact, race relations were actually pretty damn good before he got in there. And then he did this all black only college tour. And then Big Mike, his husband wife, went out and did his fucking college tour, but only talked to black people and telling them, you should be mad at the white man. You should be mad at the white man. You should be mad at the white man. Next thing you know, we've got the president after him comes in, another fucking white guy. And all of a sudden it feels like the entire country was divided right down the middle between black and white. And it all happened in between fucking '08 and 2016 or whatever.
Well, and the thing that I find most funny about the shit with Donald Trump and the whole racism bullshit is every single Democrat worshiped Donald Trump until he came down that escalator in 2015 and said, I'm running for president as a Republican because the Democrats have lost their damn mind. He was a Democrat his whole life. He donated to nothing but Democrats. Oprah loved him. Hillary loved him. Bill loved him. They all loved him until he did, like you said, the one cardinal rule you could not do, and that was question Barack Obama.
Yep. And
I still say the son of a bitch isn't an American citizen. That's a forged birth certificate, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's my opinion too, man, and that's a lot of people's opinion. But yeah, when it comes to that kind of shit, where because he questioned Obama, that raises great questions as far as the Biden presidency. Because when Biden was president, we all knew Obama. It was Obama 2.0 is what I called it. It was they needed a meat puppet that they could stick their hand up his ass and run his mouth, all through Obama's means. And what really solidified that notion for me is I was watching a video. And Biden, they were at some sort of gala, right? Some sort of event. And Biden was walking around and he was surrounded by a couple of Secret Service agents. And then the camera pans over as he walks up to Obama, and he had kind of just walked by Obama rather than talk to him. He looked like he was fucking lost. Let's call it what it is. He looked like he was lost. But all of his security detail, all of Biden's security details suddenly swarmed around Obama. And but here's the weird thing is when they were surrounding Biden, they were looking at Biden. They were bodies in, faces in towards Biden. But when they surrounded Obama, everybody was faces out. And I was like, that's fucked up that the Secret Service left the president and then is obviously protecting that guy. That's where it really solidified it for me is this was just Obama 2.0.
Well, yeah, I mean, he done that interview. I think it was with 60 Minutes or MSNBC or one of them, where he admitted he would love to have a third term, but maybe just him in an earpiece telling somebody, and look, I know what I saw during the 2020 election, and yes, I do believe the 2020 election was rigged. And they always say there's no evidence, but you can actually look this up here in Georgia because one of the biggest questions was the state of Georgia.
Yep.
It was Fulton County. They can say what they want to. There's no record of it now, and now when you search it, it's hard to find anything as far as on Google. But during election night at Phillips Arena, where the Atlanta Hawks play basketball, they had a polling station set up that was counting votes. Mysteriously, around 10:30, 10:45 that night, a pipe burst and flooded the voting room, the ballot room. So they had to stop. Now, all of a sudden, there is absolutely no evidence that there was ever a water leak, ever a pipe burst, nothing there. But it cleared out the room, and it stopped the vote counting. And mysteriously, they started counting back at around 1 o'clock. And mysteriously, Biden all of a sudden took the lead around 3 a.m.
Yeah.
There was also a case in Atlanta Superior Court or in Georgia Superior Court. They brought in a computer science expert from the University of Michigan. And a judge overheard evidence of the Dominion voting machine. You can look this up. It's in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. In 30 seconds, with a $70 USB port, he started changing votes in the Dominion voting machine, undetected. With a $70 USB, he literally showed proof that what was being said could easily be done with a $70 USB port.
Yeah.
But that never made national news. That never went anywhere outside of the city of Atlanta.
Wasn't the company that runs Dominion voting machines, weren't they in trouble because of some fucking ticketing thing? Because their machines could be altered and adjusted without really any sort of security to them. Like I seem to remember, and then I could be totally off, so don't fucking sue me if it's you. But I seem to remember a lot of information coming out about how many times they had been in trouble for building alterable machinery or alterable counting machines or something.
Well, they was even going into the 2024 election. There was still big time concern here in Georgia. And Brad Raffensperger said that they were not going to do anything about the machines. But then there was something, I'd have to go back and look it up, but there was something done that was making sure shit was secured like it was supposed to be. But the thing I find the most funny is now in 2020, we had everything that went down, and the dipshitocrats for 4 years talked smack about us denying the election. And the minute Donald Trump wins in November of 2024, they start screaming rigged election. Now, you tell me the election couldn't be rigged in 2020, but you're telling me Donald Trump, who you call the dumbest man on the face of the earth and call all of his supporters stupid, was smarter than the Democrats? I mean, is that what they're admitting to? Is that we're actually smarter than they are and can pull off a rigged election? But the biggest point of contention I still have with the 2020 election is you're telling me the senile old white man got more votes than the first black president in the history of America, and also got way more votes than the first black woman to run for president? Yeah, I'm sorry. Something just, as they like to say, the math just ain't fucking mathing with me on that one.
Yeah, and I understand that so many people hated Trump. Like I regardless of why or if I agree with it, I understand that a lot of people fucking hated Trump because it's easy to get stupid people to hate what you want them to hate. All you got to do is put the headline on CNN, tell them to believe it, and then it's stamped in concrete. But the believability factor of the way they did it for me, and I'm of course alleging all of this. The believability factor just went out of the fucking window. Like, how did you guys think you're going to pull this off when the entire fucking country was bowing to Obama? I mean, like we're talking about a population that would suck 1,000 dicks in a pile of their mother's ashes just to get him to be forever president. And you're going to tell me Biden got more votes than that guy did on his second term too? What? I don't fucking think so.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that did not fucking happen. There's no way. But it's the house I live in now. Like, this was my experience, and I turned this over to my local congressman here in the state of Georgia, a good man by the name of Mr. Ricky Williams. I have lived in this house now for 6 years. I grew up in this house. My father grew up in this house. My fucking grandmother grew up in this house. I'm fifth generation now to live here.
That's fucking awesome.
I was receiving absentee ballots for people we've never heard of. At the time, I turned in a stack of about 20 to 25 absentee ballots in other people's names that literally all I had to do was fill out and mail back in to cast a vote.
Yeah.
To an address where there hasn't been anybody by that name that has lived here since 1907.
Fuck.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but it is what it is. But the thing of it is, I take it honestly as a good thing that it happened for two reasons. One, it showed the world just how fucked up Democrats really are. And two, we get to watch liberals cry for another 4 years instead of it ending in 2024. It just continues on to 2028. Because, hey, if you hadn't fucking cheated and let Trump win his second term, he'd be gone by now.
Yeah, it's so good though. Like, think about this. Like, I often think about that exact proposition. Like, what would have happened if they didn't fuck the election and he got in the second term? This place, Project 2030, would be on even harder than it is now. And I'm one of those people, like, I believe everybody's in on it. We're talking left and right wing. One wing's better than the other, but they're both attached to that one bird. You know what I mean? But if he had gotten in his second term, this place would have been fucking over during COVID, like fucking all the way over. Just, right after COVID, it would have been totally done because they would have fucking taken over everything and had zero threat to their power structure and nothing but useful idiots just storming the fucking streets with bags full of ignorance, hurting people, screaming at people, getting in people's way, stopping them from going to work. Like, this place would have been even more chaotic than it is now. So it's actually, I think, a really good thing that they did that because it exposed them, like you said, it exposed who they really are at their heart and what they really care about, which I can't understand why anybody follows them still to this day. But it also forced the country down another path. Now, maybe the Project 2030 thing happens. I wouldn't doubt that it would because, every country is owned by somebody, right? But at least we've got a fighting chance now to have a voice against it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's the biggest thing, man, and I'm still hopeful. I still have the train of thought that something could turn us around. I mean, of course, the far left fringe, which of course, you know what they say, if you go far enough left, you're right back on the right. And it's pretty much the God's honest truth. It's like I tell them all the time, they start about this fascism shit. And I'm like, obviously, you've never done any research whatsoever because the slightest bit of research will show you that fascism/Nazism and the communist social agenda you want are the same fucking thing. I mean, it's literally the same thing. If you ever do any studying of Benito Mussolini, he was a socialist. He's named after a socialist. His father, who was a diehard socialist, named him after the Mexican social leader Benito. I can't even go on with those other 4 or 5 fucking names. But he was a socialist leader in Mexico in the 1800s. That's who Benito Mussolini was named after. If you actually go look up Mussolini's quotes, he idolized Karl Marx. He called Karl Marx the greatest philosopher of our lifetime. That don't sound like a white ring nut job to me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. That's when it comes to fascism, Nazism, socialism, all this capitalism, all this stuff, it's always such a heated debate because like I could very easily argue, depending on what side I was on, I could argue the pros and cons of either one of them. I could argue that communism is fucking awesome if I was the guy that was entering power or had power and wanted to keep that power all for myself. I could argue that socialism is a really great thing for the population. I could argue that capitalism is the only system that allows you to work out of the class in which you're born. The problem is the flip side of all of those. With capitalism, yes, it is the only system that allows you to work out of the class that you're born into. However, capitalism has morphed in the last 10 years into something that I don't think it should have been, and it may have been all along, but it was at least really well hidden. See, what we've got now is this form of capitalism, like the pre-capitalism, this era of capitalism, when somebody made it, they got excited and they walked through that door of success, and then they held it open for the next motherfucker to come in behind them. We can do this together. Come on, man. We're all going to the top. But now what we're seeing is these capitalists they walk through that door of success and then they kick it closed behind them and then put a fucking 2x4 up against it so nobody else can come through. And then that is what leads us to the flip side of socialism. So when you've got socialism, it's great. In theory, it's great for all the people because it re-diversifies the community and redivides the wealth and everybody has the same thing. Everybody has everything they need, blah, 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 blah. However, socialism has notoriously throughout history been the stepping stone into direct communism because they come at you with all these glamorous promises, right? Everybody will have everything they need. You don't have any of these responsibilities, any of these worries and this and that and the other thing. And things are really great for a year or two, maybe 3 years. And then they start turning the fucking screws. And then you get into communism. Communism is not good for any single person other than the people at the fucking top. And that's all what scares me the most about this Mamdani guy, Zoran Mamdani in New York. People don't understand what's going to happen.
Yep.
He's part of Project 2030. He's part of the Muslim insurrection, or if I call it an infestation, but it's an infiltration. And what he's going to do is he's socialist. Bernie Sanders tried to do this, and he could never come up with a fucking way to make it work. So they had to paint him brown and reintroduce him to the population. And what's going to happen is, everything in New York, like everybody that thinks the moment he gets elected is New York's going to die, is foolish. The moment he gets elected, you're going to see a lot of city, state, and federal agencies funneling money into New York to make it a utopia for a couple of years, because that will show, you said he wasn't going to work out, but he's fucking made the place great. We should just have this all the way across the nation. And people will bite on that. And then once it starts spreading, that's when they start twisting the fucking screws, and then they yank the rug out from underneath us.
Well, and see, the thing of it is I've honestly said, I want Mamdani to win in New York for the simple fact we can watch in the next 4 years. Because what's going to happen is, you're right, that, they're going to take from certain groups of people. And certain groups of people, being Democrats, are going to allow them to do it. They're not volunteering it. That's what I always laugh and tell them. You always see these Democrats on here talking about what this millionaire and billionaire should do, but none of the billionaires that support them, Taylor Swift, none of the actors, none of the sport, none of them are voluntarily doing this. Why don't you put your money where your mouth is and show us you lead the way, and then maybe others will follow? But instead, no, you would just rather take by force, which is what Mamdani is going to do. Mm-hmm. But the problem with it is when these Fortune 500 companies and all these wealthy people, what are they going to do? They're going to flee the state of New York. The same thing they've done everywhere else these socialists have taken over at. The wealth flees, because the only reason, like you say, that the majority of time with a socialist state that it works for a year or two is because they take the wealth away from people that have earned it. But what happens when the old saying is, you cannot tax your way out of poverty. All you do in all these socialist countries throughout history has ever done, like you said, except for the elite, they take the middle class and the middle upper class and they turn them into the lower class. Instead of having it where, like you said, you can work your way out of that lower class into the middle class, into the middle upper class, and sometimes even into the elite. You can't do that in socialist or communist countries, because it takes everyone who is not a part of that 1% elite and turns them all into lower class.
Yep.
And if you ever want a great documentary to watch, and you have to actually find it, it's hard to find on YouTube, but it is actually called The Lost World of Communism. And it is a documentary that deals with Germany, East Berlin, when it was under occupation of communist Russia, when it was split after World War II. I think it's Czechoslovakia, and it might be Romania. I believe it is one of those other countries. There's 3 countries that were satellite states to Soviet Russia. And it tells about what life were like in those 3 countries under Soviet rule. And, under communist rule. And guess who the only people who talk about missing those days? Those were the people that were chosen to be movie stars, people that were chosen to be popular singers. Those were the ones, because when you had to pay $1,000 for a bushel of fucking bananas, people like me and you couldn't afford it, but they could. So yeah, they enjoyed that lifestyle. But everybody that wasn't a part of the 1%, that's like the one couple they followed, I believe it was in East Berlin. They literally had a studio style apartment that they didn't even have a shower or a toilet. They actually invented something to do, tied a rubber hose to the sink in the kitchen, and they stood in a metal pan, and that's how they bathed. but you didn't have to worry about it because the government paid for your rent.
Yeah.
Well, of course they did, because they put you in a slum. But see, people don't. It's like I tell them all the time, anybody cheering for socialism or communism in America, if it is so great, how come every country that's ever implemented it had to build fucking walls to keep people from escaping?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the biggest, like, we talk about red flags. If that's not the biggest red flag in history, that every country that has ever turned socialist or communist, you have to escape. And if you're caught, you're either unalived or you're thrown in prison the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, how dumb do you have to be to understand that's not a good system?
Well, it's I made a video this morning on my Instagram page, and I was kind of talking about learning. Like, people don't learn. Like, we just, as humans, we just don't learn throughout the course of time. We keep repeating this cycle of fight against something and then fight for it, and then fight against it and then fight for it. And I quoted World War II. You know, like in 1930s and 1940s, we sent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of men to die to stop the exact system that we've got a bunch of blue-haired, jobless, septum ring wearing motherfucker do-nothings arguing for. Like, they're fighting for this, and it goes through all the way back in time, like to the Roman Empire. You know, it went from a monarchy to a republic to an empire, and then the French Revolution, you know, happens to overthrow the monarchy just to become Napoleon's, you know, empire. We just don't fucking learn, and if we just did the simple math. Every one of us has heard, well, 3% change thing. It always falls back on 3%. That means 97% of the people that exist are fucking retarded. And we need to address that situation. And that's why that's one of the things I like the way you do it, because you're a lot like me. You know, we do a little bit different content, but we do it much in the same way. Like, I always have this thing. I've always said, like, I'm a mindset and perspective and human psychology fucking nut. I'm all about it. So I've always said that there's only two ways that you can get the truth out of somebody. Get them drunk or get them pissed. Well, I can't get them drunk on the fucking internet, so I'm going to get you pissed. And then you're going to fire up. And once you start firing at me, I'm going to get through that. I'm just going to dip and dive and dodge and duck and weave. And we're going to get through all that shit. I'm not going to get offended by it. And then we're going to start talking. And then that's where the minds change. And that's where we can start really reaching people. And it comes back down to, well, why are we doing this? Because we want to stop this fucking cyclical event of nightmare after nightmare after nightmare.
Well, and you know, like, I've done that. Like, like I said, you know, when I got started on social media, it was during the George Floyd shit. And I'll tell you exactly what I said. You can actually still find the video on my YouTube channel. Facebook took it down, which is where I originally posted it. And then when my daughter got me started on social media, it was on from there. But when all the shit took place with George Floyd, I'll be honest with you, originally, I was honestly on the side of BLM. Originally, when everything first come out, when everything first started, I was like, you know what? I get it. I can understand it. I even went to my local BLM protest. I got fucking pictures to prove it. But when they started the burning, looting, attacking fucking people, destroying shit, and it's like I said in the video, you know, I understand. I get why you're upset. I would be upset too if I were you. But to all the motherfuckers in Minnesota burning shit down, looting, and just attacking people for no reason, you are no better than the motherfuckers you're claiming to be out there protesting. And what the National Guard needs to do is roll in with a couple of 50 cals, because after one or two of you son of a bitches explode, the rest of you will go fucking home. And that's honestly how I felt about it. And that video got 5.5 million views in 3 days. My daughter was like, Dad, you should start a TikTok. What the hell is TikTok? I didn't know what the hell TikTok was at the time. Like I told you earlier, I was old school, bro. It took me forever to get on Facebook. I hung with Tom as long as I could. But I started on TikTok, and immediately I started blowing up because of the shit I would say. Because I'm not scared to say I'm a white boy from the South. I don't give a damn about your feelings. You can call me whatever you want to call me. You want to call me a racist? I don't give a shit. Because all my black homeboys that live here around me, when you come fuck with me, the song by Jason Aldean, Try That in a Small Town, what y'all don't understand about that song is when one of you fucking idiots come in from out of town into a town like mine, it ain't just a white boy you gonna be fucking with. I can tell you that now.
Right.
I mean, it's as simple as that. My whole lady laughs because me and her been together going on 3 years, and we met on TikTok, so she knew how I was. When she got up here and started going places with me, she was like, "I wish people on social media could see this." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "So you don't talk to the white people?" She's like, "Everybody that comes up and talks to you is black." And I'm like, "I grew up in this fucking community. I grew up in the hood. What do you expect?" I'm like, you know. But man, like they don't understand that shit. And it's like, I get protests like the whole No Kings protest. All right, first off, dumbass, we haven't had a king in America since 1776. Real patriots took care of that shit fucking 200 years ago. You ain't doing nothing but out there fucking pissing and whining because you didn't get your way. But the thing I found funny is I did notice that those protests were awful peaceful. Well, first off, that's because it was a bunch of fucking geriatrics from the nursing home that, they brought out on their Sunday fun day. But at the same time, why didn't you pull the bullshit that you pulled in the past under Obama and into the 2020 election with Joe Biden? It's because Donald Trump's not playing y'all's bullshit no more. And now you're getting fucked up and finding out there's consequences. But hey, I'm all for First Amendment. Go out there and protest all you want to. You can hold a No Kings protest every fucking Saturday from now to the end of time. Nobody gives a shit, and nobody's really paying attention to it. But do your thing, homie. But when you start burning people's fucking businesses down, when you start robbing people, I'm all for a Tenement Square style, bring in the National Guard, fuck them up, because after they start realizing, this ain't going our way, they'll fucking stop. Hey, you want to stand on the sidewalk, you want to scream, you want to holler, you want to protest all day long, do your thing. Keep your fucking hands off people, and keep your hands off other people's fucking privacy, and stay the fuck out of my lane because I got to go to work.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, and that's like one of the biggest debates is like, that's how I feel liberals get you. They think they get you when you're arguing like I've said so many times, like it might have been in the episode I just did with Willie. I was talking about the homeless problem. Like, what would you do? Like I asked him, I was like, what would you do about the homeless problem? And he's like, well, I do this, and this. And he gave us, his typical conservative Willie take. And I'm pretty sure it was him. Yeah. But he's like, what would you do? I was like, snowplows. Just a herd of fucking snowplows, plow all those motherfuckers into the ocean, turn around, get out of the truck, turn around and say, anybody else want to sleep on my fucking street? I'm brutal like that. So I say shit like that all the time, but then they come back at me and they're like, oh, so you don't believe in the First Amendment. You don't believe in the right to protest because as soon as somebody protests, you want to bring in the government and shoot everybody. No, I am all for your right to protest. In fact, let's just look at my own content. I put out shit that I know is going to infuriate people. I have every fucking bit of, I have every shred in me that wants you to protest it. I want you to stand up for what you believe in. I want you to be loud. The problem is I don't want you touching other people's shit. I don't want you impeding upon their civil liberties because you have a point that you feel they're not getting. Your ability and your right to protest is unfuckwithable in my view. Just like you said, have your fucking protests every single weekend. Have barbecues. Have all sorts of shit. Get as many people out there as you possibly can. But the moment you fuck up a business, the moment you trash a car, the moment you punch somebody in the face, I'm going to level every last one of you motherfuckers and make sure this doesn't happen again.
because they say, and I do apologize. I know I get started, I'll start talking about one point, and then I'll ramble on to something else. That's just the way I am. But we were talking about like the deal with like, you know, with the shock jock value of getting people engaged. And see, that's how I started. That's how I blew up. And I can tell you now, there used to be a group on TikTok called The Fold. And it was 4 or 5. I'm talking about, they are now like multi-million level followers, accounts. You know, they were, yeah, because my honky ass went right after them. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get, they was like 3 or 4 black guys, and then this fucking goofy ass. I swear to God, he reminded me of the fucking Humpty Dumpty character from Puss in Boots. I'm just saying. A fucking egghead white dude, wanna be just a fucking idiot. He's one of those, I loved it because he always talked shit. But I know of several creators who literally went to dude's home fucking town and stood outside his father's house where he lived, by the way, and dared him to come outside. And he would make video after video talking shit, but when he got caught, he was a martial arts expert and a weapons expert. And dude never once answered a fucking call out to the number of people that drove up. And yes, I'm talking about you. I am Harley Davidson, you biatch. But anyway, two or three of those guys, like, we went at it. We went back and forth. Oh, I was called a racist and everything under the sun. But I never stopped. I kept going after them. Fuck you, homeboy. Like I tell them, I'm not a cracker. They call me a crouton because my white ass has got flavor, okay? I'm just like, yo ho calling me racist bullshit don't matter to me. Well, eventually, what did those guys do? They sent me private messages. The next thing I know, we exchanged phone numbers. And I took a risk. You know, these motherfuckers could expect to, which I doxed myself. I don't give a shit. Hey, my name is Stephen Lowry. I live in Milledgeville, Georgia, 31061. You got the balls to come say it to my face? Come on. I don't give a shit. I'm not scared. But these guys were called and talked. And I am still friends with them today. I don't agree with half the shit they post. But 90% of what you see on social media, and that's, I think, one of the reasons that I have such a hard time building, or guys like us have such a hard time building, is because we don't play fucking characters on social media. Right. What you see here, what you hear me saying, this is the exact same shit I will say to you face to face in real life every day of the week. I don't play a character. I am who I am. And, you know, that's the reason why, you know, that's Chris Valenti and Harry Sisson. They play a fucking character.
Yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the way I see it nowadays is Democrats are so desperate for people to say what they want to hear that's how those guys get followers. Well, that's like I tell them all the time, honey, I hate to break your heart. Daddy ain't going to tell you what you want. Daddy going to tell you what you fucking need.
Yep.
Just say it.
That's the only way you fix things. And that's why we do our thing the way we do our thing. And that is really the double-edged sword to the way we do things, because the reason that we can't blow up is also the reason that we do blow up. And it's a really weird dichotomy. It's a weird balance to unfuck in your own brain to try to, it's, you know, because for me, the way I look at my content and a lot of volatile content like yours too, is it's a lot like ice skating on a human hair. If you go a little bit this way, you lose your platform. If you go a little bit this way, you lose your audience. But you've got to run this razor thin line just to get people to not only notice, but to engage, because the engagement is what you need to get into the conversation. And that always leads back to what I always say about people. People do not believe the truth. There's so many people out here. Everybody was like, I don't understand why they don't believe it. It's the fucking truth. It's an objective reality. Yes, I get it. But people don't believe the truth. People believe whatever they have to believe to make what they currently believe into the truth. That is the major, you know, disconnect between people and other people, is we keep looking at them as though everybody thinks normal and logical. It's a lot like the government. Why would the government do that? Well, because they don't fucking think like you. Their goals are different than your goals. Your goals are to get you and your neighbors and your community and your countrymen to all thrive in this country, all have a great living and a great life and a great time. Their goal is to make sure they have all the money and all the power and all the control and all the influence and all the sway. And whatever they have to do that, they have no problem doing it, which is why they will openly lie, right? We got into a little earlier. They openly lie right across the airwaves, on TV, on news stations, on radio stations, on podcasts. They openly lie. And here's what I always try to get people to understand. They're lying, and they know they're lying, but they're not trying to convince you to stop believing what you believe. What they're actually doing is they're writing history, because 10 years from now, when we all go back to the audio clips, oh, well, this happened in 2025. And it's them saying, and this, Kamala fucking Harris is the best one right now. This motherfucker's making a fucking, kids are starving, and he's building a fucking ballroom for all his rich friends. Like he's the only fucking president in history that has done anything to the White House. There's been at least a dozen presidents that have made alterations to the White House. And bitch, what the fuck were kids doing while you were locking up their dads with the 1994 crime bill that you fucking executed and Biden wrote? What were you doing to the kids then? Starving these motherfuckers because you wanted to lock up mom and dad because they had a gram of weed in their pocket.
Well, not just that, but like you said, kids are starving. Oh, we have homeless everywhere. Then why the fuck are you letting millions of fucking people flood into our country every day? That's my biggest thing. And that's what I have always said is, yes, I am truly America first. And I'm sorry. Do I agree with everything Donald Trump says? No, Donald Trump, I'm sorry. The thing I like most about him, honestly, is the fact that he trolls the fuck out of people. I'm sorry. I love that shit. I understand he's the president and that's not proper etiquette, but why do you think he connects with the American people?
Yeah.
Because he's just like us. But you whine and cry. Oh, we got veterans sleeping on the street. Oh, we got home. Why the fuck are we allowing millions of people to come into our country? Shut the fucking border down. Shut immigration down until America is back on her feet. But like you said, we continuously repeat history. Like you said, the Roman Empire being the best example. They started out, they eventually become a republic where everything was democracy, voted on and run. But what happened? The liberals started taking it over. They opened up the borders of the country, and the next thing you know, just like what's happening in America right now, you have more mouths than you can afford to fucking feed. And the Democrats' idea of it is just print more fucking money and throw money at the situation. Well, that don't fucking work. Okay, and I don't necessarily, like you said, we're both, in all honesty, people call me a Republican and a right-winger. I'm really not. I'm honestly a centrist. I am more down the middle. Do I believe in Medicaid for all? Yeah. All citizens. I can understand, but at the same time, I don't want the fucking federal government running the healthcare system because I've been to the fucking DMV and I see how horrible of a job they do there. I see how dumb some of the motherfuckers working at the DMV. No, I don't want a doctor that's fucking paid by the federal government being my doctor. Hell no. Okay, I already don't trust doctors as it is. But we go back to why are we in the situation we're in now? And I honestly go back to Clinton. Because what? All right, Clinton had a great presidency. Regardless of the bullshit, his presidency was great. But why was his presidency great? Clinton took office, what was it, in 93, January of 93. What happened in the beginning, at the end of 94, into the beginning of 1995? You had the dot-com bubble. The dot-com bubble exploded. You had more millionaire and billionaires from 1995 until 2001 than the history of the United States ever. So what did it start getting pushed in? Oh, well, the world is going to be run by computers. The world's going to be run by computers. If you don't go to school and you don't go to college and you don't get a bachelor's degree, you're not going to be able to work in the future. So now we're pushing students to get away from trade jobs to start goddamn going to school for computer jobs. Well, what happens? Who is a country that can deal with technology a lot cheaper than America? China. So Clinton sells us out to China in 2000. Clinton is the one who allowed China into the World Trade Organization. And the next thing you know, like people blame Bush for the recession of 08, 09 when the markets collapsed. But if you actually go back and look, in 2008, 2009, when everything collapsed, the United States had lost almost 10 million high-paying manufacturing jobs. So you took people, 10 million people in America went from being able to afford to buy a house, take care of their family, feed their family on their own without government assistance, to now those 10 million people are working part-time at fucking McDonald's because we sold out our country on this dot-com bubble that exploded in 2000, 2001. And that is when you started slowly seeing millionaires depleted and going down to fucking nothing. And now you've got tons of people out there with millions, hundreds of thousands, $1 million in debt and loans that they can't fucking pay. And you crippled our society. And that is what, in my opinion, that is what Republicans differ from Democrats on. Democrats are, we will feed you, we will take care of you, we will hand to you as long as you do what we tell you to. I honestly feel the Republican Party wants to bring it back to where, because like me, my idea of an American dream is not to be rich and famous. My idea of the American dream is damn near what I live today. I have a house. My house is paid for. I own the dirt it fucking sits on. I get up every day. I go to work. I come home. If I decide right now, hey, I want to jump in the truck, go to McDonald's and get me a hamburger, I can do it. Hey, I need to go grocery shopping, I can do it. That's my fucking American dream. I am living the American dream. And the thing of it is that's what the American dream used to be.
Yeah.
Now the American dream is, what will the government pay for me so I can live my best life? And that's what I did the video the other day. The last great Democrat that ever graced America was John F. Kennedy. And his famous saying, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. That was the mindset of the American people back then when this country was great. Now it's, what will my fucking government give me for free so I don't have to lift a fucking finger and can sit on my ass all day long?
Yeah, I wish I got paid for everybody I know that's looking for disability checks right now. Like if I could just get this hip taken care of with disability, I wouldn't have to go to work and this and that and the other thing. And you know, when you talked about the American dream, and one of the biggest problems for American, with the American dream for me is we're all taught we're supposed to have it. You know, growing up, we're all taught we're supposed to have the American dream. But nobody ever teaches you how to get it. Nobody ever teaches you what it actually takes to get it. Nobody teaches you that, the American dream isn't the $15 million Malibu beachfront fucking tiny little McMansion with, a Jaguar in the fucking driveway and whatever. They don't teach you that the American dream is the ability to work hard, take care of your own, and have a little piece of this bitch just for you. If you want more, work harder. If you want more, make more money. Find a way to do that is honest and American traditional, holds American traditional values of being a stand-up human being and community oriented, in the sense of, unification of the United States. You should have that in you. But now, like you said, it's morphed. This American dream has morphed into exactly what they wanted it to. It's morphed into, what can the government do for me? And the Democrats love that shit because that's what they're best at. They're not best for actually doing anything for anybody, but they're really good at fucking promising. And to me, like, people call me racist all the time. And I'm like, yeah, and you're probably a fucking Democrat. So what? Well, let me tell you about Democrats. That's real racism. Real racism is not a guy like me going, hey, attention, black people. There's some glaring fucking issues in your community. Let's talk about that. I'll give you my perspective. You give me your perspective. We'll both point at the problem, talk about what we're pointing at, and see if we can come up with a solution. That's not racism. That's observance. That is me just being done with your bullshit and wanting to fix it. That's care. That's love. If we want to fix things, that means there's some sort of compassion involved. What the Democrats do is they come in and they make everybody whatever promises they need to make them to get the votes. And they know they and most of the time they openly admit that they can't do it. They come in, they promise, especially the black community and the brown community, anything that will get them to votes. We'll give you all the free shit, free Cadillacs for everybody. You want an Obama phone? You got Obama phone. You want Obama insurance? You got Obama insurance. We'll give you whatever the fuck you want. Just vote for us. And everybody votes for them. And then what happens? The place becomes a worse and worse and worse shithole. Every single Democrat-run city in this country, in this nation, without embellishing, is a third world fucking shithole. And if it's not a complete third world shithole like Baltimore is, and most of Chicago now, then it's on its way. You know, it's well on its way to becoming that third world shithole, all because real racists came in, lied to them, you know, we'll call them minority demographics. They're not, but I guess in this country, they came in, they lied to the minority demographics willfully deceived them, and then told them to go fuck themselves.
Well, what it is if you go back, you always hear about the great party switch.
Yeah.
I live in Georgia, and I honestly did not fucking know this until me and my dad was trying to figure out who the fuck was governor at this point in time. And I went, because like I said, back then I didn't care about politics. But now, according to Democrats, the great party switch took place in the 60s during the Civil Rights Movement. Then explain to me how the state of Georgia didn't vote for their first Republican governor until 2000. The governor of the state of Georgia was a fucking Democrat all the way up to 2000. So the parties didn't switch places. The Republican Party is still the grand old party. It is still the party that it was founded to be in the 1800s. What happened around the Civil Rights era was what I call the Democrat switching tactics. For years, like you said, it was the Democrats, the Dixiecrats, the racist white people that wanted to keep the black minority down in this country. Well, in the 60s, what happened was there was finally enough white folks to stand with folks like Dr. King and black folks. Hey, they do deserve these rights. Hey, they should be able to do this. They should be an equal part of the community. The Democrats went, oh shit, there's now more of them than they are of us. And if we don't do something, we'll be completely done. So they swapped over to the Stalin tactic. If you don't know what the Stalin tactic is, you can Google it. When Stalin first took power in Russia, and he brought all his little inner circle people together and told them what they planned on doing, one of them asked him, if you treat the people this way, they're going to revolt against you. How are you going to make this work? Joseph Stalin's aide then handed him a chicken. Joseph Stalin sat here and plucked every single feather from this chicken while it was still alive. Got done plucking its feathers, he broke both of its wings. He set it down on the floor. What do you think the chicken did? It ran away from it. Joseph Stalin, they was like, okay, he said, now let me show you how easily the people are fooled. Joseph Stalin reached in his coat pocket, brought out a little bit of chicken feed, sprinkled it at his feet, and what did the chicken do? Ran right back to it. Hence, Lyndon B. Johnson, who is a Democrat, these uppity N-words are getting too uppity for their own good. I'm going to throw them this little handout, and I'll have these uppity N-words voting Democrat for 200 years.
Yeah.
We're what, 60 years in? 60, 70 years in? Yeah. But see, that's what scares the shit out of the Democrats. That's why they're in full-blown panic mode now. Because what happened this last election? You
Yeah.
had the most in history. You had the most black folks vote for a Republican president. Nearly 50% of the Latino population, the
Yeah.
ones supposed to fucking hate Trump the most, almost 50% voted Republican. But that's why the Democrats were flooding the country with illegals. That's why the Democrats were pushing like hell to get legislation passed to allow illegals to vote, because they realize now, after 60 something years, the black community is starting to wake up and go, look, motherfucker, you've been promising me since the 60s that you were going to bring me out of poverty. You were going to make me equal. And bitch, I'm still in the same place. Something ain't adding up here.
Yeah.
And now they need to replace that vote. Because if you actually go back and look at Chicago, look at New York, look at California. Over the last 10 years, the last census, they all lost seats in the House of Representatives because of their population going down. Because people are fleeing these Democratic-run shitholes. So they have to reboost their voting population. And you take someone from El Salvador, someone from Ecuador or Mexico. Most of these people have probably been living in a cardboard fucking box in a sewer ditch somewhere. So what do the Democrats do? They do the same thing they did with the black population in the 60s. Oh, we'll give you $800 a month food stamps. We'll give you $1,500 a month rent subsidies and put you in these fucking slums. That's slum to a motherfucker from Ecuador. That's like living in a fucking Malibu mansion.
Yeah.
So what do you think he's going to do? He's going to vote Democrat. It's called the Stalin tactic, people. That's the reason why they're in a full-blown panic about Donald Trump deporting these motherfuckers, is because, they're getting rid of our voting base.
Yeah. Yeah.
Simple as that.
And it's weird that because, I think about like the Democrats and the racism that runs rampant within the party. And I know so many people that used to be Democrats, like, and we've all been Democrats for our own reasons. Like, the funniest thing to me is, like I said, I don't hide at all that I used to be a skinhead. I used to be a neo-Nazi fucking white supremacist. That's why I was a fucking Democrat, because the Democrats were the party of hatred. Like I never wanted to be a Republican, because Republicans all wanted to bring everybody together. Republicans all wanted black people in the military. They wanted black people in the fucking schools. They wanted black people in businesses. I didn't want none of that shit. That's why I was a fucking Democrat. And now you're talking to people that are like, well, I'm a Democrat because I like the feelings that it involves. It's insane.
And it's like, trying to think of how to put this and it won't get us all fucking canceled. Just look at what it's all about: race. It's all about sexual identity. Until that person, it's like I tell any black person, any Mexican person, you want to find out who's truly fucking racist, just tell one of your liberal fucking white friends that you're a Republican.
Yeah.
Because the thing of it is what Republicans try to sell is opportunity, which is what this country was fucking founded on. You have the equal opportunity to bring your ass here, work your ass off, and build a better life for your family. If you were born here, you have the opportunity to be Donald Trump. That's what Republicans sell you. What Democrats sell you is we'll give that to you, knowing they can't. But what they do accomplish is they take the people who have worked their way out of that government fucking slum. They take the people who have worked and busted their ass so they no longer have to depend on the government, and they beat them back down to where now they have to depend on us. Because if you depend on them, they can fucking control you.
Dude, and you know what? That right there, that is that's the spine of my content. That's the spine of why I do what I do. Okay, so I'm going to play on that because that is an incredibly poignant fact. That's what they do. And that's why, like every time we turn around, we're hearing it's a top down problem. It's a top down problem. It's a top down problem. And every time we turn around, we see people trying to figure it with a top down solution. You can't get yourself on the top of the top. These elite motherfuckers that own the world, like that's literally what they do. They own the world. These Bill Gateses and these Bezoses and the Trumps and all these, they own the fucking world. You can't stop them from above them because you can't get above them. But what we can do is change all the fucking minds of the people that they pit against each other to execute their means, to execute on their goals. So what we do is, especially in this country, like you were saying, it's all about race, all about race. Ever since Obama, especially, it's all about racial identity. And that's why I get into these conversations with dude, I've got just like, here, when you look at my emails, I got a lot of white guys, obviously. I got a lot of white guys. Rah, rah, rah. Thanks, guys. I understand that. I got some white guys that are like, I don't understand your content. Could you explain it to me? But I have got fucking gaggles of black men in my emails right now, and most of them start out poorly. I'm not going to lie to you. This interaction starts out poorly, and this is where it all starts. This is where I think a lot of people that want to change minds and they want to change the future for America. This is where they go wrong. Okay, so they'll put out their content, and then somebody will hate it. And then they get all mad because they hated it. Well, I put out my content knowing somebody's going to hate it. So why would I get so mad when they do? Okay, so that's where we got to shift, right? So when these black men come at me, I just get through it. Like I said earlier, you just kind of dip, dive, and dodge between the shit. You say, okay, you've got some really good points. I understand why you're mad. This is why I think you're mad. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then you're putting the ball in their court. You're opening the door to the conversation that you're not supposed to have because we're supposed to be divided. If it is a top-down problem, it needs a bottom-up approach. If we change all of the minds at the bottom, the top can no longer use us. Then we become the fucking, the grasshoppers and the ants. We all start banding together and we start realizing, hey, you know what? I'll bet you them 535 motherfuckers in Washington can't take on 330 million motherfuckers.
Well, and see, this is something that I honestly believe in. And I don't know, which I know why it's never been fucking done because, of course, they're the elites. But explain to me how that fucking peckerhead, as I like to call him, Hoctua Jeffrey, or fucking Mitch McTurkleneck, or any of the rest of the goddamn corpses walking around Washington, D.C., how the fuck are they set at a salary of $200-something thousand a year? And then not to mention, now they're all multi-fucking millionaires. How the fuck did you become a multi-millionaire being a civil servant? My point with the federal government is it needs to go back to being a service of the people. And this is my solution, take mid-range military pay. Let's take a lieutenant colonel, maybe a major pay grade. That's what Congress gets paid. Every motherfucking member of Congress. That's what you get paid. That is your yearly fucking salary. Okay? You are not allowed to make book deals. You are not allowed to do none of that. And this goes for everybody, Republican, Democrat, I don't give a shit. You are set at a base fucking salary of $60,000, $70,000 a goddamn year. And you work for the American people. The problem with it is, the Democrats, it's millionaires and billionaires. What the fuck do you think supports your party? What do you think pays for your campaigns? It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
But your difference is as to where people like me, like I said earlier, all I ask for is the opportunity to do better. to make myself better, to build a better life to leave behind for my kids. Give me that opportunity. I don't want you to hand me a damn thing. But that's the difference. They have raised this generation and the generation before it, because unfortunately, I'm technically, I guess you would call a millennial.
Yeah, what the fuck happened? I was Generation X growing up, and now all of a sudden I'm a fucking millennial.
I might be a millennial by birth, but bitch, call me a millennial X, because I can promise you I was raised and beat like fucking Gen X was. I'm just saying.
Millennial X, I like it.
We wasn't entitled to shit. We were told, if you want it, go get it.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's the reason I feel that the younger generation want what they call socialism so bad is because they think socialism is living at home with mommy and daddy. Where I can go out and work that 25, 30 hours a fucking week minimum wage, make $200 or $300. Mommy and daddy feed me. Mommy and daddy pay for my car. Mommy and daddy pay for my gas. Mommy and daddy pay for my roof. And I can go out and party and spend it all. Yeah, no, that's not real fucking life. That's living at home with mommy and daddy. But that's the problem is mommy and daddy's not teaching you about real fucking life anymore.
Right.
I mean, just look at fucking Chris Valenti. That is the walking definition of it. The son of a bitch makes every video he makes in his mom's kitchen. I mean, come on, dude, seriously? But like that's all we want is the opportunity to be fucking great. That's the difference, like I said, between Republicans and Democrats. The Republicans are offering you the opportunity, the equal opportunity. Don't matter about your fucking skin color. The only thing that matters about your immigration status is if you're fucking here illegally or not. If you're here illegally, fuck you. You don't deserve any goddamn thing. Take your happy ass to the Mexican-U.S. border and cross that motherfucker illegally to their side and see what fucking happens to you. Take your happy ass to North Korea and cross their fucking border illegally and see what fucking happens to you. Hey, you queer for Palestine. Go march your happy ass through the streets of fucking Tehran and see what happens to you. Like, you know, y'all talk all this shit about how educated y'all are. Y'all dumb motherfuckers don't realize women don't have dicks. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
so please don't tell me you're fucking educated and you can't figure that one out.
Right. Well, and to how disconnected do you got to be? This queers for Palestine and queer Muslims. I mean, trans Muslims, like how fucking disconnected do you have to be to have the entire Muslim world say, fuck you, you piece of shit. You are not welcome in this religion. We are going to stone you to death. We're going to hang you. We're going to drag you behind trucks because of everything you are. And then you hit the internet in America going, well, I'm in my mommy's house, so nothing's a problem for me. So I'm a Muslim now.
The greatest thing I have seen, especially here recently, is all these the motherfuckers cheering for Palestine, cheering for Mama Donnie, the Muslim. But now the minute Trump takes a fucking dollar from a Muslim country, they attack him for it.
Yep.
But now wait a minute. Trump told you that this certain country of Muslims he wasn't going to allow into the U.S. because they hate us, and you call him a fucking Islamophobe. But the minute he takes a fucking dollar from a Muslim country, you're fucking attacking him for it because they're the enemies of America. Make up your minds, motherfucker. Are we electing them to run our fucking country? Or are they the enemy of America? I mean, that's how fucking dumb they are.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. That is not fucking educated. That is dumb.
Well, and we're seeing that take place in states. I mean, look at Texas, for example. Texas supposedly bans Sharia law, but they're also letting multiple Sharia communities be built in the state. What the fuck do you think is going to happen with all these mixed signals?
Well, that's like the video I seen on Instagram earlier today. I think it was CNN. And, of course, they were calling the white woman the racist. It was CNN. You know how that shit goes.
Yeah.
But this lady was walking her, I don't remember where it was at, but she was literally walking her dog through the park. And this Muslim man and woman stopped and started harassing her and telling her to get her filthy fucking dog out of their park because it was a what was it, a sin, or it was disgusting in Islam or some shit. And she
what is
told
it,
them,
halal?
this is America. Take your ass back to your country if that's how you feel. And of course, she got labeled the racist. But now it's okay, motherfucker. You come here. Okay? We didn't come get your punk ass and bring you here. You chose to come here. And I'm going to tell you now, yeah, I go back to that old saying, oh, well, if someone breaks in your house and you shoot them, you value your stuff. When it comes to my dogs, motherfucker, my dogs are like my kids.
Yep.
I can promise you now, I will put one in your fucking dome if you mess with my dogs. It's as simple as that. You will get fucked up for messing. You might actually have better luck talking shit to my old lady than you would my
Yeah.
dog.
At least my wife can handle. My wife will handle you.
You scream hey at me, but it's like the old saying goes. If I take you out there and lock you in the trunk for 3 hours, you're going to be pissed when I open it. If I take my dog out there and lock her in the trunk for 3 hours, she's going to be happy to see me when I open it. I'm going to get something thrown in my ass over here. Love you, baby. Sorry, I have to pick on her. She's my biggest supporter, so I have to give her hell.
That's my wife. I mean, if like I tell my wife, if I don't fuck with you, who's gonna do it? You know, I got to keep you on your toes if you're gonna be married to this shit.
Yes, if you're gonna be in this lifestyle, you gotta understand it.
So, well, you know what? I think we'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up there. We're pushing an hour and a half. This was a great time, man. I love your ass. We're gonna have to do this again. Yeah, dude. We're at an hour and 20 now.
Oh shit! All right, then. Well,
feels like 40 minutes.
I'm gonna say fuck. Feels like we ain't been really long. Got started. Hey.
Hell yeah.
So, well, like I said, dude, I really appreciate you having me on. Anybody that wants to give me a follow, like I said, it is the Cowboy Heathen 5660 on Instagram and TikTok. Just remember the E and the is a 3, and you can find me, baby. And if you enjoy hard hitting content that don't pulls no fucking punches, or as a friend of mine once labeled me, tell no lies and take no shit. That's what you get when you come follow me.
And you know what? On that note, clear up that remember when because I found when you had gotten banned for a minute, and you started a new profile. Clear that up, so somebody will find, if they may find that other profile that's got a significant amount less follows on it. Clear that up for them.
On Instagram, I actually have 2. On TikTok, I actually have 3. Because, of course, like I said, when I got started on TikTok, I blew up. I had my main account for almost 2 years. I had almost 200,000 followers on it. Well, they nannered it. So when I finally was able to get back and get an account established, I actually have 3. So a couple of weeks ago on Instagram, mysteriously, I went to check my Instagram. I had no violations. I had no warnings, no nothing. I go to check my Instagram and it's been nannered. So I'll peel it and fuck it. I created a new one. So if you search the Cowboy Heathen 5660, it's all one word. The Cowboy Heathen 5660. The E and the is a 3. But on my second account, my backup account that I have just in case, which like you said has a shit ton less followers. I don't even think I broke 100 on it yet. But it's the Cowboy Heathen _ 5660. So that is my backup page. So if you find it, hey, give it a follow too, for, just in case, because eventually they're going to get me. Meta's going to get my ass. I mean, they've slacked off a little bit thanks to Trump, but they're still fucking liberal douches. So eventually they're going to fucking nanner me.
Yeah, that's how I found that page, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And because I get impersonator pages all the time. Like people send me fucking screenshots of impersonators all the time.
TikTok, dude, I literally have it's almost like 2 pages of troll accounts that people have created, because on TikTok I have the Cowboy Heathen 5660, I have the real Cowboy Heathen 5660. And then I have the GA Cowboy Heathen 5660. Those are my 3 pages on TikTok. But like you can go put in TH3 Cowboy, and bro, there's like 80 fucking pages. And like, dude, I've literally had friends of mine send me messages and like, hey, bro, is this you? And these son of a bitches are sending, just graphic.
Yeah, dick pics galore.
Followers. And like all kind of shit. And I'm like, no, but see, the thing of it is, I can go have 50 people report that account, and they all get told the exact same thing. There's no violation found. They are literally impersonating me. I have sent my information to TikTok to prove the account was not me, and TikTok still tells me there's no violation.
That's what's fucked up about TikTok. So I was on TikTok and I blew the fuck up there for a minute. And then all of a sudden, China Talk really had a problem with me talking about black people. They banned me, and I was like, "No, fuck you guys. I'm not even gonna fuck with you." Instagram allows me to do this shit. X allows me to do this shit. Facebook, fucking Rumble, they all allow me to talk this shit, and because it's for a fucking purpose. It's for a positive purpose, you know. But China Talk gets all mad about it. So now I got everybody and their brother fucking sending me TikTok videos that I can barely fucking watch because I got to watch them through some back door on the internet. So it looks like I'm going to probably have to start up a new TikTok page, and hopefully Jew Talk is better than China Talk.
Well, I will tell you how fucked up TikTok really is. There's a friend of mine over there. We call him Tank. He's from North Carolina. He is a black gay Democrat. But everybody he's friends with are fucking white conservative. You know, he hangs out with us. Me and Tank will get on there. We have several times tried to co-host lives together to where we openly talk. There is no hollering. There is no cussing. But because a white, straight Republican man is talking with a black, gay Democrat and they're having valid conversations, our lives are banned every time. Me and Tank has tried to go live 5 or 6 times on TikTok to have this kind of conversation where we literally just talk to each other. And like, he'll say, well, this is what I see. Well, this is what I see. Well, basically, like you said, trying to come to that common middle ground to bring everybody together. And the minute people start agreeing with us in the comments, live gets banned every time. Every time.
Yep, divide and conquer. That's what they want, man. Hopefully it changes now, but you know, I don't see a lot of change coming. So we're just gonna have to keep up the good fight. You know,
we'll keep doing what we're doing.
That being said, guys, if you want to help me get these words out, get these truths out, you can follow me on Instagram at SavagelyLOUD. That is where I'm most active. On the Savagely Loud page on Instagram, you're going to find 2 links. One of those links is to the Savagely Loud podcast page. If you could please follow me there too, as it will be my backup eventually. And the other link that you'll find on the Savagely Loud page is just a simple link tree. Anywhere you want to see my rants, hear my videos, do any of that shit, hit me there. Outside of that, Facebook, X, Rumble, and Substack at SavagelyLOUD, YouTube at SavagelyLOUD Podcast, and you can email me in SavagelyLOUD@gmail.com, which many of you are. And let me tell you, especially to my Facebook audience, I've got 690 some messages. I get anywhere from 100 to 150 messages a day and night. It's become insurmountable. It's hard to keep up. If I can even try to keep up. If you really want me to hear you, you're going to have to email me in. I guarantee you I will see you then. So do that. Last but not least, don't forget to like, comment, and share the material, because it really does help us get these truths out and start getting these minds changed out there. I will throw a plug in for Official Patriot Gear. I am not affiliated in any way, but I do believe in the company. I believe in the people that are affiliated with it, and I believe in the message that it wants to send out. So you can find all your shit at officialpatriotgear.com, and you can use what was Ant's discount code? Ant20. Get that out there. So as per usual, you know the drill now. We get down in the deep sticky wickets of everything. We get all amped up, jazzed up, and we don't want to walk away from this episode. We're on fire. So we're going to remind ourselves that humans still exist inside of humanity with a little segment I like to call Hopelessly Human, and it starts a little bit like...
People can be rough. They can be quite tough. They can get in the way, but at the end of the day, some aren't only stupid, some are hopelessly human.
Yes, they are. Some are hopelessly human. This hopelessly human comes to us from BuzzFeed. The title is Generosity at the Grocery Store. I was grocery shopping when I received a call that my grandpa had died. My grandpa and I were close my whole life. Everybody called me his little shadow. We knew it was coming, but to hear it over the phone put me into a shock. I just stood there and went white and numb. An older couple happened to be standing near me and sensed something was wrong. They asked, but I couldn't make the words come out. They sat with me for a good while, got a hold of my best friend to come pick me up, and bought the groceries in my cart. Then, not too long after, they sent flowers to my house. Apparently, they had my friend's phone number from when they called her, and they paid her to send a bouquet to me. That was one of the worst days of my life, and I miss my grandpa every single day, but the kindness and humanity makes me cry in a good way. And that's a lesson that we can all take. It doesn't take a lot of effort to make somebody's fucking life just that much better. That's Hopelessly Human. That's the show.